Hey you guys, welcome back to Love Awa. So we are continuing our acne series. If you haven't checked out my previous video, I highly recommend it because I dropped a lot of gems in there. But for this video, I want to talk about hyperpigmentation and really just reflecting on my journey these last couple years, and more so my holistic shift from utilizing topicals to heal my hyperpigmentation and to color correct to now focusing on what I eat to heal my body from the inside out. But anyways, let's get into it. So if you guys watched my last video, then you saw how my acne in 2021 was literally at its worst, and I was dealing with a lot of hyperpigmentation, whether it was from picking my acne or if it was from my facials where I was getting extractions and then I was left with hyperpigmentation. And y'all, during those times my hyperpigmentation would last months. Like one particular hyperpigmentation from a specific spot that would last me like 3-4 months before I noticed that area would clear up. And honestly, it was so frustrating at the time because imagine you have acne, you're trying to go to like estheticians to clear up the acne, to get extractions and facials to like clean out your skin, then you're left with hyperpigmentation, and then you're having to heal from that, and you're hoping like, okay, my skin is gonna heal from here, but then you're eating things that are still triggering your body, and then you're getting more acne, and then it's like the hyperpigmentation that was there before is still there, but the new pimples that I have now, like 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, I'm going to get another facial, or I'm picking at my acne during the time before I realize I shouldn't be picking at my acne. But imagine like then I go for another facial a month later and then I'm getting new hyperpigmentation. It was just a cycle where I'm like, damn, like my skin is never going to look the way that I want it to. And honestly, it was just so discouraging during the time because I felt like I just didn't know what to do. And I was always against just the idea of like bleaching my skin because just like, hello, melanin queen, I don't want to like, do anything to damage my skin because I see a lot of people do it out of self-hate. But in my case, it's like I didn't hate my complexion. I don't hate my complexion, but the hyperpigmentation, I wanted it gone. You get what I'm saying? So around that time, I had an esthetician that would give me like this cream because she sold her own products. She gave me this cream that was basically like a spot treatment to put on my hyperpigmentation, so then it would lighten those areas. And I was advised not to put it on everywhere, just spot treat. And it did work. Like I would notice it worked within like a couple days. Honestly, like even the same night that I put it on, I noticed it do something to my skin. So I'm like, okay, cool. But it's just like I started to notice that my skin would kind of get a little blotchy. So the little dot that I would put on the hyperpigmentation would start to like spread based on like the oils that my skin was producing. So I was getting left with little blotchy spots and I didn't like that. So I stopped using a spot corrector because I'm like, okay, this is kind of like gonna cause extra issues that I don't want. So I stopped using that. And I know around the time a lot of people would talk about hydroquinone, which might have been what I was using honestly, but I don't know because she didn't tell me. But there was a brand that was really like popular during the time that a lot of YouTubers were talking about. I remember back in like 2017, 2018, there was a YouTuber I watched called Jazz Nicole, and I absolutely loved her acne content. I remember she was also raving about this cream, so I'm like, oh, let me try it out. And again, it was hydroquinone that was the active ingredient, and the first bottle that I got, I liked it, but again, I felt like just when using products like that, it causes blotchy areas if it's spreading on any other part of your skin. And I just didn't like that I didn't have any control of how much it was like taking melanin away from my skin. So I just had to stop with that because I'm like, honestly, like I don't want to give like I'm bleaching, even though like if you do that, that's your business. But it's just like I just didn't want to like cause any type of like discoloration on my skin while I'm already dealing with discoloration. So then I want to say like late 2018, 2019 was when I found out about acne.org, and I was using their products. So I had like the whole entire kit, and the glycolic acid was what I decided to just like stick with because I'm like, okay, it's a chemical exfoliant, but it's not harsh on the skin. I'm using it the way that I was taught to use it, and I feel like it worked wonders for my skin honestly at the time, and I really loved it. But one thing that I was doing was I was going outside with it during the day, but I don't think like it damaged my skin. But I realized like now I shouldn't have been doing that because I had to like shift at Starbucks at like 3 p.m. I would put that on my face at 2 o'clock and head out the door. Mind you, the sun is shining. So it's just like, it's not good to use active ingredients like that and then be out in the sun during the day. So that's why they usually recommend if you're going to use active ingredients like that to use it in the nighttime or on days where it's like cloudy and things like that, even though the sun rays are still out, you just don't see them. And then after that, that's when COVID happened and I was inside a lot. And y'all, when I tell you, wearing a mask was literally my worst nightmare ever. When I tell you the amount of acne that I gained from having to wear clean masks because my skin was not breathing, it was, oh my gosh, it was just terrible when I think about that time. But during that time was when I started going to new estheticians, and I think during that time I tried about like 4 different estheticians within a 1 to 2 year time span. And one thing that I noticed when my skin was at its most inflamed, a lot of the estheticians kept giving me like a superficial facial, and I just could not understand why, because you guys are trying to, like, I get it, like you want to maybe like peel off whatever like layer of my skin is like there to like kind of control the clogging of the pores and all of that, but it's just like I just didn't understand, like, why are you guys focusing on hyperpigmentation while I'm trying to focus on cleaning out my skin, but also getting down to the root of the problem. So of course that was when I ultimately decided, you know what, let me take a pause on estheticians and let me figure out what's going on internally. Because the reality is, the way my skin was during that time, I didn't know what was going on, they didn't know what was going on, and they were trying their best to try to like handle my skin with care without doing too much. And honestly, maybe that's what they thought was best at the time, but it just wasn't making sense to me. So I just had to take a pause. And ultimately that's when I decided to focus more on what I was eating and really trying to heal my body from the inside out. So before we get into like the foods and everything, you guys know when it comes to skincare, you can only use so much active ingredients at the same time before it starts to become counterproductive. So it is not wise to use multiple active ingredients at the same time. So for example, they could cancel each other out and just cause it to be ineffective, or you could be mixing things together that shouldn't be mixed together, and then you're going to cause a reaction, you could cause a burn or just irritation on your skin. So I just thought like, okay, I can't mix all these actives together. Right now I know that I need to focus on repairing my skin barrier, so not focusing too much on the harsh topicals that I'm putting on my skin, but making sure that I'm hydrating my skin and that my skin barrier is healthy before I do anything to it. And then from there, because I had to minimize my skincare and keep it simple, I then had to find ways to get those vitamins in that were said to be good for topicals on my skin. So that was ultimately the start of me being a lot more mindful about ingesting the necessary ingredients for my skin and hoping that it would then absorb into my skin from the inside. So for example, vitamin C, right? That helps to brighten dark spots by reducing melanin production and promoting collagen repair. So instead of me trying to put on a vitamin C serum that would counter with one of my other skincare products at the time, I decided, you know what, I just decided to eat a lot more foods rich in vitamin C. So for example, citrus fruits like oranges, lemons, you know, I like my little lemon water in the morning, strawberries, pineapples, and y'all try that with some cinnamon sprinkled on top, mad good. Or even broccoli, kale, bell peppers. Those are all great ways to get in your vitamin C that you don't have to put on topically, but you'll still get the benefits of it inside of your body to, you know, benefit other parts of your body as well, but most importantly your skin. And then when you think about vitamin A and beta carotene, these help your skin shed pigmented cells and really just regulate skin renewal. So I would eat my sweet potatoes, my carrots, my pumpkins. I absolutely love celery juice as a way to get in my vitamin A because it is so high in vitamin A. So I would have my green juices every day. And sometimes this can be a little difficult in terms of like just the preparation part of everything, but I just made it my mission to have like at least like 4 green juices out of the week, so that way it's like, okay, I'm still keeping up, and it's more so like a lifestyle thing versus me trying to like do challenges. Because at the time I was trying to like do quick fixes, or I was trying to do like this diet type of thing. So I would do like a 1-week celery challenge just to see like how my skin would look in a week's time, versus really understanding like, okay, if you just make this a regular thing. So like I said, I now have my celery juice at least minimum like 4 to 5 times a week, so about like 16 ounces every day. I feel like that is more sustainable because then it keeps me consistent with it, versus back then I would do it when I felt like, oh, I want to try to like clear up my skin, or I want to try to like get like this instant result. Because the reality is, when it comes to your skin, you can't just look for instant results, because what you do today is not just going to show up on your skin tomorrow. Sometimes it takes like 3 to 4 days in order for your skin to see the benefits of what you just previously did. And I feel like during that time I was kind of lagging with with like just seeing the results. So I would think like, okay, if I eat something healthy today, then I'm gonna like feel or see the result right away. But it's just like I said, it may take a few days to show up. But within those few days before it shows up, if I'm feeling like unmotivated or feeling like, oh, why isn't anything happening, and I decide let me go eat something that's gonna basically self-sabotage my process, then it's basically like me canceling out what I just did a few days ago, and now I'm gonna get the result of the other thing that I just did to self-sabotage. So it's just like you have to be patient with yourself on this journey, but you also have to be committed and you have to be consistent. So when it comes to your vitamin A, it's also great to get in your spinach, your kale, cantaloupes, apricots. And then there was a time where I was taking zinc supplements because that's also really good for fighting inflammation, and it just helps your wounds heal faster. But I'm not gonna lie, I don't like taking pills, if I'm being completely honest. So again, that led me back to food. So I was eating a lot more like hemp seeds. So I would put that like in my smoothies, or I would have chickpeas, I would have my lentils, my legumes, cashews, almond. All of these things are high in zinc, and it's great for your skin as well. So zinc calms down inflammation and it heals your wounds without leaving a lot of hyperpigmentation behind, which is a win, right? Because that's the whole point of what we're trying to do. And then it was focusing on my omega-3 fatty acids, which are really great for your skin as well. These help prevent acne from scarring deeply, but also it helps to even out your skin tone. So it's eating things like your sardines, your salmon, your walnuts, your flax seeds, or even chia seeds, and you can make some chia pudding. And ultimately, omega-3 fatty acids just help to reduce inflammation and redness, which is a win, right? Because if you're not getting inflammation, then it lessens your chances of getting a pimple that will leave hyperpigmentation. And then you have to focus on antioxidant rich foods because they help to fight stress, which is what worsens, again, your dark spots. So eating your berries like blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, drinking your green tea as green tea or in matcha form. At the time, I loved pomegranate, but y'all, the whole process of just getting pomegranate seeds and then it's finished in like 5 minutes, it's too much. But pomegranates is also really great. And then dark chocolate. So like I said, during that time of the month, y'all, eat your dark chocolate. Don't overdo it, but you can enjoy it. And then it's really important to eat foods that are hydrating and detoxifying. So like I said, I love my green juices. I'll add celery, cucumber, parsley, things to clean out your blood and just like really renew and revitalize your body. And it's a great source of energy as well, so you can skip the caffeine at times. So hydration helps with skin repair and also just melanin balancing. And when it comes to hydration, you don't want to just focus on drinking water. You want to eat things that are also full of water and hydrating because you're getting a lot more nutrients. So your cucumber, your watermelon, celery, coconut water that's not sweetened, or even just like herbal teas. Also, I'm gonna do a whole separate video on herbal teas because I feel like that's a great way to balance out your hormones, but that's another thing to get your water in while the herbs are also like cleansing your body out in the ways that it's meant to. And then of course there's so many other foods that I can talk about, but I'm gonna leave that for my gut health video just because I feel like all of this again does tie into each other. But I want to break this series down into like specific things so that you can just see how important certain roles play in certain things. And then finally, to end off this video, I did get a deep chemical peel one time and it was really great for my skin. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I was terrified because I'm like, oh my gosh, what if I'm left with a burn? Because I've seen stories where people are left with burns. But my chemical peel was actually a great process. It was about 5 days to a week time of me just shedding, and y'all, when I tell you I was locked up in the house, thank God. But it's just like the chemical peel process was actually really good. And although I did see results of the chemical peel, I was still like not fully canceling out certain foods like Greek yogurt because I was trying to get my protein in, but I found other ways to get my protein in now. So I officially cut out Greek yogurt. I now do cashew milk yogurt, but also I was doing my feta cheese and just my Parmesan for protein. So I realized, okay, I gotta take a step back from cheese. Like I still eat cheese, but just not as much. So that's pretty much it. I did record the process of that chemical peel that I got last year, and I'm gonna create a short and post that so you guys can just see like the process of that. But anyways, y'all, I thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see y'all in my next video for this series where we're gonna learn on how we're going to heal our acne from the inside out, because not everything is going to be available to you topically. Because let's be honest, when you're in the wilderness or you're in a place where you don't have access to your dermatologist, so you don't have your acne meds or just like all these skin topical stuff, you are always hopefully gonna have food around you. So it's just being mindful of having that relationship with food so that you know how to heal yourself. in the event that those cases ever happen. Hopefully not. But anyways, y'all, I thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye.